Dick Clawson, Executive Director of the Indiana Armstrong Builders Association, joining us, and we're going to touch on a couple of topics. But, Dick, one thing I wanted to talk about was housing startups in Indiana County. Last year, 2020, only 14 new home permits, the fewest since 2011. You look at neighboring counties, in many cases, housing permits, home startups, the numbers were up when compared to 2019. What do you think in Indiana County contributed to the downturn? I guess if it's up in other areas, you can't necessarily blame COVID, but is it more a reflection of a stagnant economy?
That's exactly what it is. The jobs aren't around here now with the announcement from IUP of retrenching and laying off over 100 faculty members. That puts a lot of homes on the market, and people are quite willing to buy a used home rather than go through the building process.
So as it relates to the members of the Builders Association, I know you had a meeting last night, your monthly board meeting. How did they navigate 2020? What did you hear? How were they able to compensate when many were not able to build new homes, obviously, with those low numbers?
Part of the problem last year was the shutdown of all the construction trades except for emergency repairs from the middle of March to the 1st of May. Then you had a critical shortage of materials because the raw material manufacturers were shut down and there was a delay in the supply chain.
Dick, that also caused a dramatic spike in prices, am I right?
Absolutely, especially in the pressure-treated lumber. Part of the problem was a lot of the people were laid off and they were doing the work themselves, buying the materials, doing the work themselves, and then when it was time to start working again, the lumber yards have not started up to work yet.
Have you seen prices start to come back down?
Yes, they have come down. They've the highs in August and September are back down to what they were pre-COVID. But the supply chain is backlogged. Tremendous amount of 6, 8, 10 weeks to get the custom-made windows now and cabinets because the people haven't been working 100%. Manufacturing facilities were not made to be 6 feet apart for distancing, so they had to redesign some of the areas on where they're building these products.
Have you heard anything as far as when things may get back to closer to what you know is normal? Although I guess all of that is up in the air with the pandemic, and we all hope that the vaccine will start to settle things down a little bit. But have you heard anything as far as when the manufacturers may get back to a normal situation?
Well, I was at the lumber yard today and found out that one of the major shingle manufacturers reduced their product line from 20 to 5 to try to help do this. So you're not going to have the variety of shingle colors that you had a year ago. The window manufacturers are slowly getting back, but with some of the people being laid off and not wanting to come back to work, it's a tough road.
How did local contractors do, Dick, with smaller jobs as far as just trying to maintain some semblance of business in 2020? Obviously, most people did not take vacations and travel a lot, so maybe the stimulus money helped out in that regard. Was that a boost to keeping contractors in business?
Absolutely. You hit it on the nail on the head that people didn't take vacations. They're finding things wrong with their house that they have lived with but decided they couldn't. Let's get it fixed up since we didn't take any travel money. And the majority of the good contractors are booked 4 and 5 months out to get anything done. Another issue is some of their workers are not going back to work. We had 3 major contractors in town retire at the end of the year rather than try to stay up ahead, which put a shortage of good workers that can be out there and work again.
When I look through the numbers of new home startups in Indiana County, as recently as 2010, a record high of 63. 2007, there were 59 new home permits. Granted, some of that, I think, with some new codes that were coming in with sprinkler systems, et cetera, maybe accelerated the startups and building of new homes. But still, what a dramatic drop-off these past few years has to be concerning to local officials.
It is, and I do know that some municipalities are looking at giving a tax break on new construction for the first 2 or 3 years as an incentive to build. Personally, building a new house today, it would be energy efficient. It would be all new high-tech equipment and maintenance-free for a number of years. So your old house it'd be perfect.
Dick, your board meeting was last night. What about the prospects for 2021 for the local builders? Is there optimism?
Oh my, yes. A lot of people have been working at home, and they're creating the older people that empty nesters are converting that spare bedroom into an office, and because they're finding that they may not have to go back to work again. And they're just bringing the locations up to speed, putting in some high-tech wiring, making it a little bit more comfortable, and an ability for a husband and wife to work from the same room, or at least it separates them into two separate rooms. Believe me, the builders are out there. They're ready to do work, but people have to realize they're backlogged because of supply chain and a matter of fact of not having enough workers to do the work.
I'm going to change gears on you. COVID has affected and forced the cancellations of most, if not all, events, and that is inclusive of Indiana County and also inclusive of the annual Indiana Armstrong Builders Association Home Show, which was canceled last March. This year, you're going to try something different. You can't hold the event in person as you'd like to do, and all of the builders, I'm sure, would like as well. So tell our listeners, again, with the details on the upcoming virtual home show.
Yes, in November, our board sat down and decided that looking down the future with the uncertainty of exactly what we could do and what we couldn't do, we decided to cancel our home show for 2021 and do a virtual home show. Currently, we have 35 booths sold for that home show. What we're going to do is we're going to treat it as if we do have a home show live. We're going to have it'll open at 5 o'clock on March the 19th. And run until March 21st virtually, and then we're probably going to keep it online for another 3 months after that. It's a very unique experience, and it'll be IndianaHomeshow.com. We will be advertising it, so there'll be some giveaways, compliments of Renda Broadcasting, and we'll have some fun with it.
And it keeps the home show alive in a unique way. I think we all hope that in March of 2022 we are back to normal.
Absolutely, and we had home show was completely sold out this past March, and we had to shut it down 3 days before we were to start moving in. So the great majority of the exhibitors said that they'll be back when we have a live one again.
Dick, we appreciate you doing this.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. As always, we appreciate working with Renda Broadcasting.
And we look forward to the virtual home show in March, and we're happy to be a part of that. We wish you the best of luck. As you said, we'll be talking more about that as we get a little bit closer.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's Dick Clawson, Executive Director of the Indiana Armstrong Builders Association.